comes around the final corner, and he's going to cross the line in first place. Scott is going to try and now break him, leaving Leaker moving back across the line slightly there, and he's now got the inside line. Shorty's got it. Comes around the final corner, and he's going to cross the line in first place. Scott is going to try and now break him, leaving Leaker moving back across the line slightly there, and he's now got the inside line. Shorty's got it.
Hello everyone and welcome to round 4 of online Formula Racing. Here we are today at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. And as we head deeper into the season, things just continue to heat themselves up. Here in the desert, in the night, 16 people ready to qualify, but only one will prevail. And who will it be is the ultimate question that I'm sure everyone is dying to know. Most, if not half, the drivers already out of the pits. 18 minutes of qualifying. We're already done with 2. And the first driver to get us underway, I believe, will be Dr. Robot, who is about to cross the line. The Aston Martin driver has not found much luck in the last few weeks, and it looked like he rode the curb actually a fair bit there. Surprised that he didn't get invalidated, but he stays with us. Again, riding the curbs, Dr. Robot really wants to prove what he can show. His teammate Tim Blaish outperformed him the last 2 weeks when he came, and is looking to outperform him again as a 17-8. It's a bit of a lackluster first sector for the Aston, but as a banker, definitely not terrible. Let's take a look at where Dr. Robot stands in the standings, with Aston Martin in 9th after after a disappointing performance in round 3 by Tim Blaish. DNFing, I believe, at Monaco. Dr. Robot sits with 13 points, with 5 points in 16th place. 53.8 Sector 2, I believe he will be the first to set the time, unless in front of him is Wukarda or Scotty. No, it's Wukarda. Wukarda will be the first to set a time. Wukarda, again, has been very competent in qualifying, as Tommy with a 24.4 sets the fastest lap for now. He's been very competent in a car and has always been pushing for the pole position, and a 20 continues to push for it. Dr. Robot will cross line with a 25.3, so yeah, just not as fast as the front view. He's been up there as well, and Tim Blaish with a 23.9 on the mediums. That is just wow. I think he's like, well, I know I'm the fastest one here, so I'm just going to save a set of softs, do a banker lap on a set of mediums. That's very cocky from the Aston Martin driver, but he beats out Wukarda's time by 0.02 of a second. A couple more driving to the line. Black Mercedes we saw last week with a 26 flat. Focus, Nico, and Scotty all on laps right now. Focus leading the championship right now with 62 points. Goblin takes fastest lap at the 23.7. Goblin's been really fast these last couple of days. Focus with a 53.5. That's not going to be a fast lap, and it's just going to be a sort of warm-up for Focus. Focus leads the championship with 62 points, 19 in front of Mega Player, who is here today. Let's take a look what he can do. Mega Player about to cross the line as well, but let's see Focus first. in the AlphaTauri. He rounds the last corner, 22-23.5. And I said, well, it's not going to be that fast of a lap from Focus. It looked like just a warm-up. Well, I was wrong, as he takes provisional pole by 0.2 of a second, and Mega Player, unable to respond, only takes P6. But I think the man we have to look out for here is Tim Blaish, as he's about to head into the pits. On the mediums, only 0.4 off of Focus. This could certainly spice up to be an interesting qualifying session, as Arthur in the AlphaTauri is again an example of a teammate who is maybe not been as good as his counterpart at the team, but as we head on with the season, opportunities arise, and Arthur continues to have opportunities to prove himself, but a 17.7 is certainly just not going to be it. We have Nico and Showcrime in the two McLarens, sandwiching poor Alfa Romeo. Nico has been doing rather well in the championship, but fell off a bit after last week, I believe. Nico, yep, down to P4 with 27 points, but again, I'm saying down to P4 like that's a bad thing. Representing for McLaren, 27 of the 34 points, and I would say Showcrime is one of those as well, where he's carried by his teammate, but I don't think that would be a fair comparison considering how unlucky he's been over the last few weeks. 7 points for the Romanian driver. And King Mural, I believe, joined in as well. King Mural, again, usually a very good qualifier and a very good racer. We saw examples of that at Brazil and Spa, but I believe 2 DNFs in the last 3 races has just spoiled his fate. As Arthur about to cross the line, goes P7, so he's up there with Mega Player, only 0.2 off, which is surprising. I mean, Mega Player is pushing for the championship at the moment, while Arthur barely has any points, if any. No, Arthur has 16 points, so to see him up there maybe will boost his spirits a bit. And Showcrime with a 17.6, a bit faster than Arthur, we saw, but I believe Arthur also got a bit of a tow down this straight from the McLaren, as you saw he was sandwiched there. As Showcrime puts the pedal to the metal, rear wing open, you can see that Ferrari behind him warming up. I believe that's Illercon with a 37.6, so not at all a competitive time. And Focus and Tim Blaish saying that he believes it's between them for pole, but I'm saying don't discount Goblin, and Wukarda always gets his nose in that battle. As Showcrime with a 53.6, that's a pretty fast time. But we see a good display of sportsmanship between the two. Good luck, may the best man get it. Showcrime here through in Sector 3, while Nico's still back through that long sweeping left-hander, one of the hardest corners at this track. You just have to get it right, otherwise you will spin or go off. And Showcrime is going to cross the line. This looks like a pretty good time, a 24.4. That'll be P6 for Showcrime, while Nico with a 53.4 was a bit faster than his teammate through Sector 2. Could possibly get his way into the top 5, just needs to beat Tommy to do so. Will he get a sub 24 though? That's the question. He'll cross the line. He will not, but it will be enough for P5, a 24.1. P5 and P7, that looks like a pretty good result for the McLarens as it stands, halfway done with qualifying. 9 minutes remaining. 15 drivers have set their times, while 2 have not, and King Mural goes a bit wide there and invalidates. Really easy to invalidate in that corner, really. Let's see Nico. Well, I think I just showed Nico for a bit, but I got you on the next hot lap. I can ride on board with him. King Mural and Germs setting laps. Germs with a 54.3, not a very competitive time, but that'll put him somewhere in the 25s, maybe high 26s. Germs has been a bit underwhelming in that Red Bull so far this year. Goes a bit wide there and not invalidated. Keeps it within the lines here. Germs through the last 2 corners. King Mural with an 18.4, by the way. That's not a good time at all. Germs going across the line. It will be a 25.5. Puts him P14. And I believe we have a couple others out on track now. Wukarda with a 23.6, almost taking provisional pole. Tommy as well out on track, I think, with a 24.1. He's improved his time just a bit. And Goblin, I think this is the biggest dark horse that we didn't think of just yet. We're going to ride on board with him. I believe Mega Player also on a lap too. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. And Goblin, almost a whole 10th in the first sector. And now down this main straight, or back straight, Goblin using that Williams power. Williams, one of the fastest cars down these long straights, only behind Red Bull. We saw in real life at Las Vegas as well, Alex Albon with incredible time gain on the long straights, even ahead of Max Verstappen and Checo Perez. While Goblin pushes it down this straight. Focus, I believe, on a lap as well. Yes, he's just started it. Tim Blaish still in the pits, though, so it's going to be interesting. And he does not make up much time, though. He's going to need to make up a full 2/10 if he wants to beat Focus's current time. But he lost, actually, 25 thousandths through that sector. And this is a tricky one here. Sector 3. Goblin in the Williams. Can he make anything of it? He's got a car ahead, a bit of traffic. Maybe he didn't use all of the track there. Maybe he did. Maybe he's pushing towards the line. He's going to get a little bit of tow from the Alfa Romeo 2 to the line. And he does. A blistering Sector 3 from Goblin. 3 whole tenths in that sector alone. And now it's Focus with work to do. But he's up 1.4 tenths. But that just won't be enough to dethrone Goblin. He'll need a few more hundredths. Will he be capable of it? And I mean, we did just see with Goblin that there's a lot of time to be gained in these last sectors, but he's going to head into quite a bit of traffic there. The Ferrari ahead of him moves off, and that car, that Williams, I believe, also moves off as well. But will that slow him down? No, it doesn't. Does not deter the AlphaTauri driver and just continues to show his mastery with a 23.389, and that will leave Williams fans disheartened. And Goblin now has to make up 0.02 of a second, which seems like not a lot, but could be a gargantuan task. Goblin on an in-lap. Tim Blaish on an out-lap. Now finally on softs. We'll see his true potential. And with the timing here, I think this is the only run he's planning to do so. The Aston Martin driver is very confident as Mega Player unable to improve on his time. Arthur out on the pits as well, but doesn't look like he's going to improve much. May improve a few hundredths, while Scotty is up a whole half a second. This could be interesting. Arthur crosses the line. No, he doesn't. He goes into the pits. And if Scotty has a bit of time left in his final sector here, he could butt his way into the pole conversation, if not at least the front few rows. Half a second will be able to have a bit more than that. And Scotty crosses the line almost at 3.9. That's P4 for Scotty. I think that's the best he's done so far in qualifying. That's really impressive for the Alpine driver. We've never really seen him up there with his teammate, but it's a 3.4 for Alpine. And I'm sure Bucardo is as surprised as we are, or maybe not. Maybe he's known the whole time. But Tim Blaish invalidating. So this is going to be interesting. He's going to have to let that Alpine by, unless he doesn't want to pass him. So now the question is Tim Blaish going to try and stick it out with he's got enough fuel, but with these tires and try to get a lap in, or does he go pit for a new set of softs? I mean, I would go pit because these set of softs are probably only on like 2-3%, which you can still certainly use in race. But in qualifying, that 2-3% can mean the difference between pole or not. I mean, look at the gap between P1 and P2. 21 hundredths of a second. That's the difference 1 and 2% can make on these tires. But Tim Blaish elects to stay out, and he will start another lap, even though he is sandwiched between two cars there. A lot of traffic in this area. Dr. Robot up ahead as well. So now Tim Blaish will see what he can do, but it looked like a bumpy start to me. And again, he invalidates riding that curb. Now he's going to have to rush back to the pit. I think Tim Blaish has screwed this up. I think he's royally screwed this up. I think now the only way he gets a lap in is if he stays out again on this set of tires and goes for a lap again. And that McLaren slowed down a bit, maybe It's going to call for a bit of blocking, so... Unless Tim Blake's trying to speed back to the pits, but listen, Tim, it's just not going to happen. I mean, if you take a look at the clock, the only way you get another lap in is if you stay out on these sets of tires, which, yeah, I think he's just really screwed up. And in the meanwhile, Nico, with a 23.5 and all the commotion, puts himself up into P3. And that's a Herculean effort from the McLaren driver to keep himself in the championship conversation. And this will certainly help his chances. 23.576 beating out Wukarda 6.18, but Wukarda actually about to cross the line as well in the Alpine. Oh my, and he keep control of the car? He doesn't, but he doesn't touch the wall either. And Wukarda at the last corner just pushing it a bit too hard. And just loses it, and almost Germs almost crashing into him as well. But I still think he broke at the line, but he was still able to improve his time. So that could have been top 13, top 12 even for Germs. So that might be a report for blocking. Focus and Goblin both on their out laps as well. Goblin here right ahead of Tim Blaish. And now I'm going to be riding on board with Goblin. Tim Blaish just, you lost your chance, bud. Riding these curves there, Goblin. I'm sure he still has a bit of time in that middle sector. That's what he's going to be aiming to get. Down 42 hundredths, but that's not that big a deal. Tim Blaish is well right behind him. No signs of giving up. And Goblin definitely, this chicane here is going to be make it or break it for Goblin. He's going to have to execute it perfectly as the Williams driver heads into the chicane. Clips the curb on the inside there and the outside. And that looked very good, but not too good as he invalidates. But so does Tim Blaish has invalidated the last 3 laps. But I still think he has a bit of time if he wants to get to the line and get another time in. I think he does. No, he doesn't. Just not enough time. Unless he like cuts the next chicane here, but yeah. Sorry, Tim. That's got to be heartbreaking for him as Scotty on a lap down 500ths. Wukarda on his in lap. Focus now looks like he can basically just steal pole, unless I think Goblin can get to the line, actually. Goblin, does he get to the line? No, he doesn't. By 2 seconds, the Williams driver misses out. That's crazy. Those margins are very, very tight as Focus has to take a bit of an alternate line there, but still up to 10th. And he's going to fend off pretty much everyone. And this is Focus's pole position to lose, but he goes rather wide there. That's going to slow him down a bit. Maybe make him a bit more vulnerable. I don't think Scotty's got anything left in the tank. Tommy, definitely not. Resco, absolutely not. Yeah, so that's it. And Focus at game looks like he's just taken another pole, this time at Abu Dhabi. He crosses the line. Will he improve? Yes, he does. Does not let that turn deter him that he went wide. He didn't invalidate. He said, screw it, I'll finish anyway. At 23.271, and Mega Player misses out on provisional pole with a 23.333. I actually didn't even see his time. But yeah, Mega Player, again, just missing out barely on pole. And I believe Lillercon and Reshcon are the only ones left, as well as Black Mercedes. But neither of them on a lap. Or at least on a competitive one. And there it is. That's your qualifying session. So an interesting end here, but we've seen Focus dominate the charts. So Focus and Mega Player will share the front row once again, now in reverse order, as the AlphaTauri driver takes pole, while Alfa Romeo driver will sit alongside him in the front row in second. Goblin, P3, maybe ruining his missed chance at pole with that invalidated lap. While Nico in P4, Wukarda P5, Scotty P6, Tim Blaish P7, Tommy P8, Reshcon P9, Archer P10, Showcrime 11th, Lillercon 12th, King Miro 13th. Disappointing qualifying session for the Haas. Dr. Robot in 14th. Lookout James in 15th, and Germs and Black Mercedes at the back of the grid. So it's going to be an uphill battle for a few here today, including Tim Blaish, but we've seen his speed. And I think he's certainly capable of pushing for a podium. And we saw him even push for a win at Belgium before, Belgium happened. But I think the obvious culprits yet again are Focus and Mega Player, with Goblin just sort of improving as the season goes on. The Williams driver, Goblin, currently sitting P11 in the championship with 10 points, all of which came from that affair at Belgium, as he was on for at Monaco, but just got caught up in a crash and DNF'd. So unlucky for him. But he currently sits P3, so a good lunge at the start could mean that he's in the lead of the race. Let's see your predictions for this race. Who do you think will win here at Abu Dhabi? Will Focus extend his advantage over the rest of the grid, as well as AlphaTauri's, as Monkey Man Matt is nowhere to be seen today? Or will Mega Player close the gap to P1? And Nico, with an advantage to take a chance to take P3 back with the absence of Monkey Man Matt, the man, Irishman with 2 podiums on the season to Nico's 1. But Nico in P4 here could be ready to take that spot back, and with a bit of luck, maybe even P2. Tommy is well with a podium at Spa, a P2 for the Bulgarian in the Mercedes with 26 points. He sits in P5. That is your World Drivers' Championship conversation. And the question is, how will that conversation be changed or shaken up after this race? Meanwhile, the Constructors' Championship is a bit more blown open. I think we should be more worried about the battle for P2 than that for P1. But at the same time, AlphaTauri with only 1 driver today, so this could be an opportunity for Alfa Romeo and McLaren to close the gap down a bit. Meanwhile, at the back, Scuderia Ferrari drowning. They still need a single point this season to get on the score sheet. Nico will win. Yeah, Nico will win. Nico and Artie won too. Artie's not here today, so that's sad. But in an interesting bit of weather here in Abu Dhabi, as the clouds fill the sky, which is very different from the sunny setup we're used to. And will we see rain in the desert? Would only be the second time we've seen rain this season, with a bit of it at Spa. I believe we had a wet qualifying there, or a wet end qualifying at least. Cars start lining up on the grid. Focus will occupy that P1 spot with the outside line, the straight line to the corner, but Mega Player beside him with the inside line, ready to dash and take P1. Goblin, of course, behind. Do not forget about them or Nico. That's going to be your starting grid as everyone has lined up. The red lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And for the 4th time this season, it's lights out and away we go here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Mega Player does not get as great of a start as he would have hoped, and Focus retains lead of the race. Tommy down to P8, Tim Blish up to P6, and Tommy all the way down to the back of the grid with colliding with Scotty, and a 5-second penalty for the Mercedes. And Focus at game keeps his advantage. Goblin behind as well, so the front 5 haven't changed, while Arthur up to P7 as Tim Blish moves up a position as well, up to P8. King Mural up to P10, just capitalizing on Dr. Robot Scotty and Tommy. Mega Player, will he send it up the inside into the chicane? The Alfa Romeo are side by side, and it looks like Focus is just about going to keep P1. But Mega Player already very early. Archer with a 5-second time lead for corner cutting. Very early on, attacking. And he will get at him again here. Down this back straight. Into the long left-hander. Around the outside. Goes the Alfa Romeo. Can he pull this move off? They are still side by side, but Mega Player with his nose ahead and the inside line into the corner, and it looks like he will take the lead of the Grand Prix. And Goblin is into the barriers. Wukarda is into him as well. Tim Blish gets a huge crash. And the Williams gets hit by the Red Bull as well. Just sort of stuck in the middle there, and how that's not a safety car is beyond me, but racing will be allowed to continue as Focus now 4/10ths back, and Arthur almost into a podium position, but he does have that 5-second penalty. Nico's fallen behind a bit because of that crash, but he sits currently P30, and the grid has been shaken up in immense fashion as Goblin stays out. He doesn't have any wing damage. Legault, James, Illercon, and Wukarda all into the pits, moving Tommy, Dr. Robot, and Scotty back up a few positions, but also putting Greshko and Germs into P8 and P9, which is the first time this season Red Bull have been in the double points. Now, can Focus get back at the Alfa Romeo? Mega Player into the hairpin here. Will he center up the inside? No, he doesn't. So Mega Player will retain his advantage, but he goes a bit wide, and Focus is going to try the switchback. He's got a much better exit out of the corner there, almost forcing that Alfa Romeo to stay in the side, and Focus side by side with Mega Player down into this curve. Mega Player with the inside line, but he will stay ahead, so just not enough power in the Alpha Tauri that we saw in the Alfa Romeo last lap to be able to overtake around the outside. A beautiful overtake by Mega Player. Otherwise, no real change here, and we'll change it to change it off interval for whatever reason. Tim Blish is bugged, but Arthur down to P5 as Tim Blish overtakes him, and Nico sort of just hanging with the front two, and even not really hanging. He's in his DRS with the fastest lap, but Tim Blish steals it right back from him, and we'll see Focus try to get at Mega Player, but then again, you have Nico behind, who's also got DRS, so this is certainly going to be interesting. So we head down this long straight here, down to the Yacht Suite and the lounge. Will Focus at game send one up the inside? He does, and the Flying Fin flies past Mega Player for P1 into the turn, but all this bickering is just allowing Nico to catch up, with Nico with a 8/10ths gap now to Mega Player, but that will actually be diminished as Mega Player again down the straight. Didn't expect the Alfa Romeo to have so much power, but he does, and the car does too, and that will be P1 again for Mega Player. This is going to be an uphill battle for Focus to fight. Let's take a look at Reshcone and King Mural here, as well as Showcrime. King Mural, will he try and lunge one up the inside of one of these corners? Rather difficult to overtake through these sets of turns here, but a skilled driver like King Mural certainly wouldn't shy away from an opportunity here as Showcrime going wide, possibly into the last corner here, but no, but Mural backs off, and a yellow flag in Sector 3. That's Artur Kostrewa spun around at the penultimate, final corner, and he's going to have to let all the others by. He was doing so well up into P4, but now down to 13th with a penalty. I think it's safe to say that's his race over. Let's go back as Wukarta sets the fastest lap of the race. Let's go back to these three as Focus comes down again. This back straight really big for the AlphaTauri. Does he set it up the inside? No, he doesn't. He's going to stay behind, gather the DRS. But look at this, Nico now only half a second behind Focus. A bit slow through that chicane there, but heading past the Marina Grandstand, an overtake here would be key for Focus, and he will try it around the outside. It's the Alfa Romeo on the inside this time, and they are too wide. Almost touched there as Focus shoved a bit off track there. But he's ahead, and yes, that's going to be his move. Solidified as Legoat James picks up a 3-second time penalty. The battling between these two has just been crazy, as what's happened with King Mural here. He's going slowly. He's going to let another 2 cars by, and the Haas looks like he's made a bit of a mistake, maybe spun. And he's moved down quite a few positions, putting Showcrime up into 5th. Possibly a collision between those two, as it's a McLaren 3-5 at the moment. So it's been rather good for the team so far today. And Megaplayer already thirsty to get back at Focus. Now, you're going to have to take a look at that DRS checkpoint there. It's already past the chicane. So whatever Megaplayer does here, like if he overtakes Focus now, it doesn't matter. This isn't a corner where you can sort of play DRS chicken, because the DRS straight is after, and the Alfa Romeo sends a launch up the inside. Will it get the job done? This is almost routine. But he goes rather wide there off the track. That could be a warning. And Focus looks like he's going to get back. He's going to have his rear wing open into the DRS zone, and he's not going to need to send it around the outside as he gets moved on. But Nico falls behind a bit. 1.3 still the gap to Focus. And Megaplayer needs to start worrying about the corner cutting penalties, as he could be in serious trouble if he gets 1 or even 2. But Focus goes really wide there too, so I wish we could see when they get penalties or warnings, as Legoat James with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But he will retire his car, so that means Goblin is the only one left running for Williams. And it's Megaplayer's turn to get back at Focus. Hards versus mediums as well, may I say. So the stints will differ. Megaplayer will box earlier than Focus. Megaplayer even hoping for an early safety car that Focus can't really do much about. As this gap still half a second, and is this proof that aliens exist? Are they listening to us? Are Codemasters listening to my stream right now? A safety car, and for no apparent reason. I didn't get warned of any flags in any sectors. And as I say, Megaplayer could make use of an early safety car. We get an early safety car. So now the question is, will these medium runners stay out, or will they go in and gamble? I think the gamble is to go in at this point because it's still a bit early. But 22 laps on the hards, 2 of which are under the safety car. I think that's definitely doable here at this circuit. But of course, that's going to be a tremendous undercut. I think maybe the top 2 would elect against doing it, but someone that's been screwed over this race, maybe Dr. Robot Germs, could go in and possibly see what they can get from it. This is the big moment here. Will Megaplayer box? No, he doesn't. Nico also stays out, so will this be a telling sign of the other drivers as well? I think Wukarta, it may be useful for him to box. He's already near the back of the grid. Brescone on the mediums stays out. Germs in the Red Bull. He's leading a bit of a pack there, but he's going to stay out. Same with Dr. Robot goes into the pits, and so does Scotty on the hards for whatever reason. So Scotty's looks like he's going to probably change to softs, maybe. And yeah, we're seeing more and more down at the back of the grid. Go into the pits is Ricciardo. Ricciardo does not follow. Black Mercedes, will he box as well? And the Ferrari would be a wise choice for him. And it looks like he's going to stay out. Lillercon and Arthur. Arthur has already boxed just last lap, and I don't see a reason for Lillercon to do so. And these few are going to come back in right about the spot that they went into the box. You know, it's calculated strategy, seeing Lillercon, Arthur, Tommy so far behind. Come out in P11, 12, 13, and 14. So Focus will be leading the safety car restart on lap 8 or lap 9, whenever it does come around, with Mega Player behind and Nico in third. I mean, Nico, we saw, was able to keep up for a couple laps, but afterwards he just started falling behind. So I think it's going to be on him to get a good start here. And he's got Tim Blake right behind him as well. He had established a bit of a gap to the Aston Martin, which is now gone. So yeah, quite a few people definitely going to have to be worried about their starts. We head into lap 8 here. Pretty much everyone has just about bunched together. So will we see the safety car come in this lap? Only Arthur, who's still coming down the back straight there, ready to catch up. But that's going to be all of the pitting for now done. But we are going to see the pit window open again in a couple laps. So will we see another safety car this race? I mean, we haven't really seen many incidents that we would deem maybe sort of necessary for a safety car, other than that first incident with Goblin earlier on in the race that we did not in fact get a safety car for. But yep, there it is. Race control have confirmed it, and the safety car is coming in this lap. We're going to be heading into lap 9 of 29 here in the United Arab Emirates. Usually the season ender, but here, round 4, as Focus will get us restarted in the AlphaTauri, and it looks like we are now underway here at the Yas Marina circuit. Will Mega Player try to send it up the inside? No, he doesn't get a good enough start. Unless Showcrime maybe up into P4. No, he doesn't. So the front 5 have stayed the same. Rushcone up into P6 ahead of Goblin. Germs up into P8 ahead of Wukarda. Wukarda down to P10. Moved down 3 positions since the start, and Focus stays ahead, so not much happening in the front. Scotty up to P8, overtaking Germs. A bit of movement in the middle there, but not really much happening as we're going to head down the straight here. Scotty re-overtaking Germs now. Here comes Wukarda. Wukarda, they're going to make it 3 wide into this corner here. 4 wide even, almost. Very and someone's smashed into the brake markers. But Wukarda is going to come out ahead. But Reshkone now, hold up, wait a minute. Reshkone, will we see him up into P6? He's going to go side by side with Goblin. But actually, Mega Player very close to focus as well. Let's take a look at the lead of the race. But just too wide there in that corner. As Tim Blaish now up into P3. And the two McLarens down to P4 and P5. Will they even trade positions here? So now, as we head into the thick of it, we're going to be seeing a lot more fighting. Not just Mega Player and Focus, but now Showcrime and Nico, along with Tim Blaish as well. But Tim Blaish looking to pull out a bit of a gap as well. Now he's going to cement himself almost into the battle for the lead as Goblin with a 3-second time penalty. Will we see the lead change hands from someone other than Mega Player or Focus? And for the first time in 10 laps, will we see Tim Blaish in the lead of the race on the hards as well? So it's going to be between him and Focus on the mediums. Mega Player is going to be on the hards next stint. But Tim Blaish looks like, again, keeping up with the two up front, while Nico falling back, falling behind. And Mega Player unable to get a move going. Can Goblin center up the inside of Showcrime? No, he can't. Reshkone maybe trying it around the outside here, just purely to defend that Alpine, and the Alpine is going to go really wide there. Reshkone giving him room, and he's going to stay P7, but Scotty, it's not over for them, as Mega Player is going to try another move around the outside. This looks like it's his favorite place to overtake, and he's going to get that move off, but they are back side by side, and they touch there. He's touched his side pod with his rear tire, but it looks like Focus is going to come out ahead, and there's the first bit of real contact we've seen between these two all race. And I don't think Mega Player is going to be happy about that, but neither will Focus. I mean, the man who's going to be happiest about all this is Tim Blaish, who's now within a second of Focus. But of course, has been in the DRS of Mega Player all restart long. And now with DRS enabled, can he make the most of it? Spec-wise, he is in the fastest car here, but Focus is probably one of the fastest drivers on the grid, if not the fastest, as Mega Player looking still to take that P1 spot back, while Goblin is overtaking Showcrime, but for not so far, as he has that 3-second time penalty. Mega Player is going to get the rear wing open, so will Tim Blaish, and Mega Player down this back straight here. He's going to nudge himself in front of Focus, and look at that, Tim Blaish in the background. Do not scratch your eyes. That is the Aston Martin, and he is ready to nudge his way into the title fight. But Mega Player currently in the lead, as Tim Blaish is getting an incredible view of this battle up the inside. Goes Focus, and Mega Player losing out that spot yet again. Down that straight, heading into Sector 3. Focus in the lead of the race, and Tim Blaish now within 0.6 of Focus, within 3 of Mega Player. So could this be a 3-way battle for the lead? And Goblin now actually looking to overtake Nico as well. Now look at that in the background. The Williams looking to make his way up. We saw him get P3 in qualifying, so definitely not out of the question as to whether he can push for a podium position even with that penalty. And now Focus is going to be very vulnerable in these next few DRS straights, unless he's going to allow Mega Player to stay ahead. Now this is a corner you can definitely play DRS chicken at, while Mega Player going wide here, and Tim Blaish may be able to capitalize. Mega Player with a 3-second time penalty, and that could be his race over on lap 12. And now Tim Blaish is going to look to want to overtake both of them even down the straight if possible, but it doesn't look like it. Mega Player is going to send one up the inside of Focus at game, and it looks like he's going to get the move done. A proper move, and will Tim Blaish try it? And he does. He does touch the rear tire of the Alpha Tower. Maybe not as wise of a move as he may have thought, just lunging in there, but the gap now half a second to Focus, and Mega Player back in the lead of the race, but technically in P3 or P4 because of that time penalty. And Tim Blaish has been in this battle for quite a few laps now, but is yet to poke his nose at trying to take the lead when will Mega Player box, as well as the question, the pit window is going to open next lap for the Alfa Romeo. But the question is, when is he going to go in? And that could certainly shake up the race. Is Showcrime down to P9, P10 even, P11. I'm not sure what's happened to the McLaren there. And he's gone very far off tracking. Miro going into the pits. He's going to be the first on medium tires. Only 6 laps old, though, so it's going to be a surprising choice, as Tim Blaish now within 4/10 of focus. Will he try and get a good exit down this back straight here? Looks like he's gotten a decent exit. But it's Focus who's now pushing Mega Player, and look at this incredible speed, 340 kilometers an hour down the back straight, making up 0.6 of a second on the Alfa Romeo. And wow, are these margins close? Mega Player now with DRS. Will he get back at him? Of course, we know this is his favorite place to overtake, around the outside, but is he going to even need to? And will Tim Blaish now finally get his way with Focus? And no, he doesn't, but he gets mighty close. He's going to keep it nice and neat here in order to get a better exit. And for the first time, these three are less than half a second within each other. Look at that, almost 4/10, less than 4/10 of a second away. This is incredible. Now, will Mega Player elect to pit? Tim Blaish going a bit wide here, as Focus maybe trying it around the outside here. And he touches the rear wing, and yes, there he goes. The Alfa Romeo has boxed on lap 13 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, while Tim Blaish and Focus now left to battle it out alone. 4/10 is the gap between these two, and Tim Blaish could take the lead of the race for the first time this race with a bit of a lackluster first corner. Focus extends his advantage by a 1/10 or 2, but it is coming right back down to 4/10. So Goblin up to P3 now that Nico is pitted for hards. Most of the medium runners are going to box. I think Reshkon is the only one who has stayed out, but he's probably going to box at the end of this lap. And Tim Blaish covering ground in the Aston Martin. Will he go for it down this straight? He's going to send it up the inside into the hairpin, into the chicane. And he does get the move off. And for the first time, the Aston Martin garage erupts into cheers as Tim Blaish takes the lead of the race. But Focus looks to get back as quick as possible, sending it up the inside here. He's going to force the Aston Martin to go the long way around, but looks like the Aston Martin might just keep the position unless Focus gets his nose ahead, but he does. And Focus back in the lead of the race. So, joy not long lasting for the Aston Martin, but Focus weaving. I mean, he's moving under braking there. You could even argue for that. And Tim Blaish maybe thought that he saw an opportunity there, but again, he saw it vanish in front of his eyes. So that could be a possible incident after the race. To me, that looked like he was moving under braking, maybe just correcting a bit of traction loss from the AlphaTauri, but that has put the gap up to 0.8 of a second. So definitely a case to be argued by Tim Blaish here, if he does elect to do so, as the pit window for them has also opened up. We'll see them pit either in this or next lap, maybe at most lap 17. But the gap has come right back down to half a second here with Tim Blaish. Tim Blaish taking a very conservative line through that corner. And look at this, covering ground again and again. We've seen this time and time again. And now, once again on lap 15, Tim Blaish up the inside, but doesn't even need to. He's going to get the move done on the straight, and he's going to be in the lead of the Grand Prix. And now the Aston Martin is going to dominate the exit of this corner. But let's see, Focus is going to get his rear wing open, and will he try the move again? I mean, this is just incredible how they are trading positions back and forth, and we've only really seen one incident of them touching, but this time Tim Blaish is going to stay ahead unless Focus sees a gap up the inside there, keeping it neat while Tim Blaish goes wide, but Tim Blaish stays in the lead. And now the question is anyone going to try the undercut, or is anyone going to go out and stay out longer, stick it with these hard tires for an overcut? Meanwhile, Mega Player in P9, maybe in a bit of traffic with Showcrime ahead of him, 1.3 seconds, a 13 lap discrepancy in the tires, and Tim Blaish elects to pit. He's going to go for the undercut, and Focus is going to be in the lead of the race. And for the first time this race, he's going to be the sole man up front with Arthur in P3, 5 seconds behind him. And now Mega Player looking to get past Showcrime and move his way up the pack, but Showcrime elects to pit on 15 lap old tires. So Goblin I know he's got into pits as well. Lillercon is the only one that's going to stay out, but I think it's because he boxed after lap 1. He's got 1 extra lap of tires to go off of. And Focus is going to be the only one, and Arthur correcting a mistake there. Will Arthur actually stay out for the rest of the race? Could very well be, but I would say he's probably going to box for softs sometime later on this race. There's Tommy up to P3 with an overtake on Black Mercedes down the straights, and the Ferrari touches the Mercedes, and surely he's going to be forced to give that position back, and he does hand it back, but that's going to slow Tommy down a bit. We haven't seen much of Tommy so far this race, but on 9-lap old mediums, he could possibly be getting into a high points position, but again, he's going to have to likely box again, but so do the people behind him. I think the only ones, Nico, Rescone, Wukarda, Mega Player with not another soul in sight for another 6 seconds. But Scotty on those 9-lap old mediums, he's likely going to make light work of him. As Focus finally goes into the pits, and now it's going to be a race to the line. Who's going to make it first? Tim Blaish or Focus? We know Mega Player is going to take the lead of the race, and that's a mega overcut for Mega Player, or mega undercut for Mega Player. 2.7 seconds there. And that could be the difference between the lead of the race or not. And Tim Blaish is going to want to come out on P2. And Mega Player, well, all Mega Player is going to want is for them to fight. And Focus coming out of the tunnel there is going to be far behind Tim Blaish, actually. Yeah, look at that. A whole second. Oh, and a virtual safety car has come out. So that's going to separate them even more. And now will Arthur maybe take advantage of this in box while he's a bit far away? Will these front few take advantage of this virtual safety car? And Mega Player actually is just going to want for Tim Blaish and Focus to fight so that he can stick out that 3 seconds. But I think Tim Blaish actually closer to Mega Player than he is to Focus. Yeah, look at that. The gap. You can see in his rear view mirrors, Focus is nowhere to be found. But Mega Player, you can see that Alfa Romeo, look at that. Yeah, just in front, a few seconds in front. And we will get restarted with this VSC sooner or later as Arthur nearing the pits. Will he lunge in? 11-lap old hards. He could go for 12-lap stint on the mediums. Even a 12-lap stint on the softs is possible. And will we see the Alfa Romeo elect to box, or is he going to stay out? He's going to stay out. Tommy is going to take advantage of this opportunity, though, and box. Same with Black Mercedes. He's going to follow the Mercedes in front into the box. And Ferrari, what an ironic name, Black Mercedes in a Ferrari. But DRS is enabled, and we are back underway and racing. And it looks like it's an Alfa Romeo 1-2 for the first time this race. And Tim Blaish and Focus at game sit P3 and P4. For the first time this race, Focus out of the podium positions. Tim Blaish needs to make up 2 seconds ahead to Mega Player, while Focus not in his DRS. Mega Player, I think, is going to be racing towards his teammate and try to get in his DRS here. Maybe telling his teammate, stay out for a couple extra laps to just try and get the DRS. Well, Nico back up into P5 as well. Has been a resilient race from the McLaren drivers thus far this race. And Tim Blaish looks like he's closing the gap 2.3 ahead to Mega Player. But while no one's really in DRS of everyone else, not much fighting left as Mega Player closing the gap to his teammate, certainly. Actually, let's take a look at Scotty and Wukarda. The two Alpines could be fighting here. The gap between 2 tenths, and Scotty up the inside. Wukarda, I don't know if he was giving him the position there or if that was just a mistake, but Scotty finalizes the overtake on his teammate as Tommy whizzes past another Ferrari. This time it's Lillercon who goes wide, and he's going to get passed by both the Alpines here. No, just one of them as he's holding up the other two, with Tim Blaish with the fastest lap of the 25.8, and Lillercon holding up the two, the Goblin and Wukarda, giving Scotty quite a bit of advantage here. Now, Tommy looking to get at Rescone. Rescone in the Red Bull has had a pretty solid race compared to the rest of the season so far. Tim Blaish actually now 1.2 to Mega Player, so he's closed the gap quite quickly. And we'll see them in a moment once they have DRS. Tommy 0.8 ahead, Scotty 0.8 ahead as well. Germs with a penalty. 3 seconds for multiple warnings. Maybe Mega Player will try to get his penalty removed while Germs picks up 5 seconds in the pits. Tommy's going to get his rear wing open, but will it be enough? He's closing the gap on the Red Bull, but by how much is the question? Is he going to send one up the inside? No, he isn't, but he's gotten very close to the Red Bull. Oh, and the Red Bull going wide there with a bit of a mistake through that corner. Tommy pedal to the metal, a better exit from the Mercedes here, and he takes P6 with Goblin picking up a 3-second time penalty. Now, will Tommy catch up to Nico? I mean, it's 6 seconds, but he does have the tire advantage, and he does have a whole 10 laps in front of him. And in the meanwhile, Tim Blaish, less than a second to Mega Player, while Focus more than a second behind. So Tim Blaish, I think it's going to be impressed upon him that it is vital for him now to pass the Alfa Romeo if he wants the Alfa Romeo to hold up Focus. Otherwise, he will get held up in a battle with the AlphaTauri. Now, he does have an opportunity to pass him down this back straight here, and I don't think Focus is going to have DRS. It's going to be very close. Will Tim Blaish send it up the inside? He does. Will he outbrake the Alfa Romeo? And he does. And Tim Blaish, that could have very well sealed his victory here. And I think, yes, he is. He still gets DRS here. The Alfa Romeo with the toe, though. He's going to try to get back at Tim Blaish, but it won't be enough. And Tim Blaish, with the DRS, will stay ahead. And through this chicane, you can really see how much those tires are affecting him. And now Focus can try to get at Mega Player, but Tim Blaish is going to have to stay ahead. But look at this Mega Player coming with incredible speeds and is going to re-overtake the accident. They touch, and it looks like Mega Player is out of contention for the race. Now, was that a deliberate touch by Tim Blaish, or did the Alfa Romeo turn in to the Aston Martin? That is most certainly going to be reviewed as Mega Player comes back in at P4, and Nico possibly looking to overtake him as well. And that 3-second time penalty could cost Mega Player a podium. And now Tim Blaish is going to take advantage of the Alfa Romeo ahead, and he will get DRS down the straight. And wow, that was, again, that's the second piece of big contact we've seen between them. But that was, I don't even think we can classify that as big contact. That's huge contact. I mean, you're essentially putting your opponent almost out of the race here, as Tim Blaish does in fact not get DRS on the Alfa Romeo ahead. So this could be Focus's chance to retake the lead as well as farm DRS off of Arthur Kostrewa ahead. And Focus retakes the hypothetical lead of the race, and he is going to get DRS on the Alfa Romeo ahead. So whatever Focus's plan was is sort of just failed with that overtake there. And I mean, I'm not one to say that it was Tim Blaish's fault, because it could very well not have been his fault, but that could be a bit of karma for him there. But it looks like Focus is getting held up by Kostrewa, but he does manage to pass through that turn. And now Arthur, whoa, my brother, what are you doing? And he's going to let him by. Arthur with a 3-second time penalty. That one's probably going to get appealed. Now Tim Blaish, more than a second behind Focus, and Arthur has sort of just possibly ruined his chances at a race. I don't want to say ruined, but that could be the end for Tim Blaish's push for P1. While Nico now ahead of Mega Player, it looks like it's going to stay that way, as Mega Player does have that 3-second time penalty. Even if he does end up overtaking the McLaren, it's going to be quite hard for him to stick out 3 seconds with the amount of time remaining. But Arthur Kostrewa still P3, though he has 3 seconds of time penalties. So actually, it's not that bad. He could probably get a top 10 finish. Maybe even a bit better than that. And Tim Blaish, even so, with less overtake than Focus. And I think, unless Tim Blaish, the engineer, telling him that we need push laps here, we need 7 qualifying laps all the way to the line here. But will he be able to deliver? Will the Aston Martin be able to steal a win from Focus? but at the moment, his fate looks bleak, and his chances grim. While Nico subsequently staying ahead of Mega Player. So yeah, we will definitely have a talk about that collision between the two of them at the end of the race. I'm sure some words are going to be shared between the two drivers that could be very reminiscent of, oh, and Nico sliding about there, almost losing traction, and Mega Player sending it up the inside of that turn as we head into lap 23. He will take P4, but he makes a mistake as well, and that'll allow Nico to get right back at him as he'll send it up the inside of turn 1, and the McLaren gets ahead, or does he, as Mega Player is holding his own there, too wide through turn 1, but to turn 3 here, this S turn almost. He will give the position back up, but his teammate also making a mistake there as Arthur now down to P6, and we're seeing these tires sort of just lose grip as the race progresses. Nico with the better exit there, but Mega Player is going to get the DRS, and now Tommy could possibly be in this podium conversation. With 6 laps remaining, Mega Player is going to send one up the inside of Tommy and take P3 back. That will be secured for now. As Tommy now in Nico's DRS as well. Tommy with 1 podium at Spa. Almost 1 at Brazil too. And Nico is going to get his rear wing open. He's going to look for a move up the inside here, but the McLaren driver unable to do so. And now we have a 3-way battle here for P3, really. As a caution in Sector 3, King Mural is going to go there. And there's a safety car. That's King Mural just stuck. Oh my, wait, hold up. This could shake things up. Now we'll focus, elect to stay out, and it looks like he does. But Tim Blaish is going to go into the pits. And this could be very, very reminiscent of what happened in real life in Abu Dhabi. Now, it's going to be a question, will Mega Player go into the pits? Will Nico? Yes, they will. So Tim Blaish is going to get a free stop under the safety car, and Focus really disadvantaged by this. Tim Blaish is going to go for the softs. And yes, everyone behind him going in, and Mukarta could stay out and possibly take P2, but no, he doesn't. So Tim Blaish getting a free stop under the safety car could put Focus at incredible risk, and it looks like we will have 3, at the least 2 laps of racing action under, not under the safety car here. And wow, this is shaking things up like crazy, but Goblin and Scotty are the 2 cars that have elected to stay out, and Tim Blaish will need to pass. So he doesn't get a free stop, but he gets very close to a free stop here. And Goblin and Scotty take advantage of being on the mediums and stay out. Wow, this could be a riveting end to what has thus far been an incredible race. And we've seen this happen at Brazil as well. The late safety car, and we've seen the hard and the medium runners, some of them stay out and lose out big time. I think one of them was Show Crime, actually, who does this time, in fact, elect to box. And Arthur is going to get a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. And Focus does go into the pits, so he's going to regret his decision here, and now he's going to come out. Well, it's still going to be a fairly free stop for him, but I think he's going to come out behind Tim Blaish. Now he's going to have the tire advantage by 1 lap, but he's going to have to get ahead of Tim Blaish. Let's take a look at this, and as they come down, actually, no, wait, I think he's going to stay ahead. I think only Scotty's going to be the one to pass him. And he's going to come out in P2, maybe P3. P2 for Focus. And he might have just saved the race there. As electing to pit could have been a saving grace. It's now Scotty in the lead of the race. Jesus Christ, I'm rhyming like crazy here. 25 laps have been raced so far this Grand Prix. As the sun has gradually disappeared, and this has turned into a cloudy night sky as Arthur retires from the session. With Scotty in the lead, Focus in second, Goblin with penalty in third, and Tim Blaish in fourth. And how many laps of racing action will we get? And we've seen a lot of cars still like spread out here and this track, so we're definitely not going to be seeing it come in this lap, but likely next lap. So my guess is 3 laps of racing action. So, boy, do I wish this was the last race of the season. This would have been a crazy ending to the last race of the season. But I mean, it's a crazy ending either way, and feast your eyes, everyone, because this could be one of the best races that you'll get all season. Isaac. Zach has posted with a heart face in the chat. I don't know when that was. I'm not really monitoring it, but yeah, I mean, certainly this is going to be the most interesting ending to an OFR race. You could make the argument that Brazil was very interesting as well, with Monkey Man Matt having that penalty and all, just about missing out on the podium there. But I certainly think that this is going to be it. I mean, Mega Player now down to P6 with a 3-second time penalty here. The guys with time penalties are really just, yeah, I mean, it's just not going to happen for them. 3 seconds in 3 laps is an absolutely crazy amount of time to make up. So first time we see an Alpine in the lead of the race, and we're gonna see an Alpine get the safety car restart underway here. Likely gonna be this lap, even though Germs and King Nero still well behind the safety car, and it's just a matter of time until we get the notification from race control saying ding ding ding, safety car is in this lap. Now Scotty on these 9-lap-old mediums, so maybe this will be not as much of a challenge as in Brazil. I think those were 12, 13-lap-old mediums for 4 or 5 laps. Meanwhile, this is going to be 9, 10-lap-old mediums for 2, 3 laps. So as we head through Sector 3 here, this is usually about the time it gets announced. And the safety car is in. But still, no sign of the announcement. Scotty driving cautiously there. We saw the safety car disappear for a second. So, will it stay out? It could. And it looks like the safety car has stayed out yet another lap. And hold up, this may make Focus and Tim Blaish's job that much harder. 2 laps of action that we're going to get. 2 laps is going to be it for this race. Laps 28 and 29. And Scotty may just get, if not a win, at least a podium here at Abu Dhabi. I think we see an uproar here in the Alpine garage, as well as the Williams garage. We see actually Black Mercedes in P5. He's done rather well for himself. Thank you to all that have... Forgot to mention you guys. And, Clan A, Tim Blaish, Perseus, and Danny Navarro, thank you so much, guys. If you guys are watching the stream right now, I really do appreciate it. It is so very fun to commentate on these races, and this has been absolutely the most fun one so far. But as we see, the night sky closes in above these racers, and the night lights here in the Middle East come out. We will see 2 laps to the finish line. Who will take the checkered flag? Will it be Focus and safety cars in this lap? We are told so very early here now as the green flags are around. Will it be Focus? Can he extend his lead? Will it be Mega Player, who can possibly maybe stage a comeback here? Will it be Tim Blaish, the dark horse? Well, not really dark horse. He's been doing very well so far this race, but the dark horse in terms of driver standings. Will it be Scotty? Scotty is the real dark horse here. Scotty's going to need to get an advantage, and as it is, 2 laps of racing action. No DRS. Focus is not going to get the DRS open. Lewis Hamilton's not going to get the DRS open. So, will this be an ending reminiscent to something that we've seen before, that we've all experienced, a Formula 1 legend? And Scotty is going to get us underway, and he goes early. Scotty in the Alpine is going to get a blistering start, but Focus right behind, leaving Goblin and Tim Blaish in the dust, and can Focus already in turn 1. He's looking for an overtaking opportunity here. We've got 6.4 miles of racing action all the way to the checkered flag here, and Focus at game looking already to overtake the Alpine. And this is usually the first overtaking zone here. Will he send a lunge up the inside? He does, but Scotty's going to defend with his life. He's going to go the long way around, though, and Focus is in the lead of the race. But Tim Blaish, look at that. Tim Blaish up to P3, and Focus is really far left at the barrier. Scotty using all the overtake, all of them using all the overtake possible. That Alpine's just a bit faster, and look at this. Scotty up the inside here. Will he send a lunge? No, he doesn't. But Tim Blaish now in the conversation as well. Look at this. All 3 of them so close together as we head down this back straight. And Tim Blaish is going to be using his overtake to the fullest potential. He's going to use his slipstream from the Alpine as well. And look at them both making up time to the AlphaTauri ahead. As we and he touches him. Tim Blaish for the second time at that turn. And Scotty has gone off just a little bit. And Tim Blaish now into P2. Half a second of a gap. 4 laps versus 3 laps. Aston Martin versus AlphaTauri. Tim Blaish versus Focus. 3.2 miles of racing action all the way to the checkered flag. Is this going to be a first win this season for Tim Blaish? Is this going to be a 3rd win this season for Focus at game? As we cross the line, Tim Blaish much faster through that lap. The gap stands at half a second. First overtaking zone is normally down into turn 5. And we'll see Tim Blaish here 7/10 back. He's going to be too far back to send a lunge up the inside, but he's using all his overtake. But it just looks like Focus has more. And now, as we head out of turn 5, down the back straight here, Tim Blaish with a bit of a worse exit there, but still getting the toe from Focus ahead. And it looks like his last chance may be that sweeping left-hander at the end of that straight. As we head into the chicane here, the gap stands at 6/10. And of course, as we said, no DRS for either of these two. But Tim Blaish looks like he got maybe a bit of a better exit through that corner there. But both of them using their ERS, their overtake. And it looks like Focus may just stay ahead. And into turn 9 we go. Focus 6/10 ahead. Mega Player has made his way up into P3 while Scotty down into P5. And it looks like Tim Blaish's hopes may be all just over. They've shared a brilliant battle through these laps with Mega Player, Focus, and Tim Blaish. But at the moment, it looks like Focus is going to extend his lead on the championship on this day. Dr. Robot with a 5-second time penalty. Focus at game is going to cross the line and win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Tim Blaish behind. Mega Player will take P3 provisionally, but Tommy sneaks in to a podium spot as Scotty takes P4. And what a race. What a finish. Wow. Focus, a deserved win there. Incredible from him to go into the box there on the second lap of the safety car and use his knowledge to still retain that position and get a better tire than Tim Blaish. Wow, what a finish. Electric here in the United Arab Emirates. Wow. Tommy, driver of the day, and deservedly so. He was down in P17 at the back of the grid at the start of the session. And now takes a podium position. Focus will take his 3rd victory this season and extends his lead with now 87 points. I don't think he got the fastest lap. That'll be Tim Blaish. Tim Blaish is going to get his first points of the season. That'll be 19 for him with the fastest lap. And Tommy looks like he's going to overtake Monkey Man Mats. And he's going to pick up a P3 here. Another respectable finish for him. Meanwhile, Scotty in P4, very good finish for him. Mega Player in P5. I'm just going to fall behind a bit. Nico in P6, Lucarda in P7, Black Mercedes, Luricon, Ferrari with points on the board for the first time this season, and it'll be 6 points for them, 4 for Black Mercedes and 2 for Luricon. Meanwhile, Showcrime said at the beginning of the race, quote, that P10 position is mine, and true to his word, he takes P10. King Mural, Goblin, Dr. Robot, Breshko, and Germs missing out on points, while Arthur and Legoat James, the only ones to DNF. Wow, what a race. What a race, man. Just incredible. GG's good content. Thank you, Perseus. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching the race. And, wow. I'm just speechless. Please make sure to come back next week, same time, same place, for OFR Round 5. And as the season continues on, how will the championships fare?